Hi Book Dragons, I'm back for my October TBR. So let's just get into the nitty gritty. What is happening in October? October is a busy month for me. October is fall, which means a lot of fall themed reads, which I'm so excited about. It's also New York City Comic Con, which means I'll be 4 days when I'm running around like a crazy person. I did not finish my September TBR. I am participating in 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 readathons. I'm definitely doing Fablen with Margaret from The Word Nerd. I will talk about that last because there is a very specific TBR and I'm really going all out. I'm generating a character for that. And I'm also doing TBR Harvest with Leandra from TBR Zero, and that is going to be my priority, like TBR. I'm basically just going to kind of do once a week. I'm going to kind of pick one of the boards and let that rule my TBR, maybe. And maybe on the weekends I'll do some themed vlogs. I do have some weekends off. I do have one weekend I won't be available because I'm going to Comic-Con. And then I have another like longer weekend. So let's get into the fun. So this month I'm going to be doing things a little bit different because of Fablen. So I'm going to talk about Fablen first, and then I'll kind of go into it deeper. There is one prompt in Fablen where you're kind of choosing your weapon, and that is very reminiscent. It's like a focus for you, like what you're going to do. So instead of doing my like yearly goals that I always do, I'm just going to choose that, and then we're going to kind of roll some books, roll a number, and see how many books I have to read for that, and kind of pick those right now. And there is like a bunch of different options.
Look like this.
Oh, I'm gonna roll, give you guys the weapon, what is the category, and then I'm gonna pull some books of the spooky genre for that prompt in hopes that they fit some other things. But that is my goal, is to read a certain number of weapon books for this prompt. So I am gonna roll a dice. You really can't see it. That's okay. Ooh, we have a 4. I will try to link Margaret's video for Fablen below because it sounds so freaking cool. Okay, so I got the mace, which means I have to read a backlist book, which is okay because backlist I think is like being identified as like your author's like last book, but you could also do like backlist that was not published in 2024. There's a little bit of leeway with that. So I am really excited because I have quite a few books on my TBR that I can pull from, and I'm gonna go get 4 that are witchy themed or like fallish themed that are backlist that I can count. And I do have a punishment. I do still need to read 2 NetGalley arcs, definitely this month, and I can definitely do that, especially because I'm going to Comic-Con. But, okay, and now I have to roll the amount of books I have to read for backlist. So I have to read 4 well, the thing is I have a mace. So now let's see, of 6 books, how many I have to read. 5. Okay. Well, you know what? That could be worse, I will say. It could be 6. But I also am including this, anything I read that has backlist, even audiobooks. So this will probably get done relatively easily. But, alright, so let me go write that down. So I don't forget. And then I'm going to give you guys a couple of options for that. I haven't fully talked about Fablen, but just know that I will be getting extra bonus points if my books are fantasy leaning. So 3 of the backlist books that I do have are fantasy leaning. One is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This is her debut, and I've heard so many good things about it. I really do want to read it. It's a gothic fantasy book that I've heard really good things about, and I got to meet her or see her at New York City Comic Con, so I am going back. So I would love to have read a book and talk to the people and say, yo, your book was really cool. So I'm gonna add this to the TBR. It's also very pretty and very gothic, and I've heard some really good things about it. I also have You Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne, and this was a cozy fantasy, but it does have like cozy vibes. It is also a NetGalley book that I really do need to read. So I'm gonna add this to the TBR. And then because I have read some Buffy books last month and I am in the mood, I am gonna pick up the Bewitching Hour by Ashley Poston, which is a tarot prequel. And I might even get the audiobook for this because I really do like that, so that might happen. I just have to see if I can get the audio. But those are going to be the fantasy leaning ones. And then here are 3 books that I just have that are like backlist books that are just fall themed that I may pick up. One is The Late Miss Willoughby by Claudia Gray. This is the second book in the Murder of Mr. Wickham sailing, a Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilly mystery. And I really like the first one, and she is often at Comic-Con, so I may wind up reading this before I go, or maybe like on the commuting there. We will see. And then I also have Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winston. I need to read a book with a southern theme in it, and this one might be perfect. It is definitely backlist because she hasn't come out with anything new this year, so this is technically from last year. So, and then the last book I have is another one that came out last year, I think, is Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. And this is definitely because she's had another book since then. So I want to read this. So these are my 4 fall themed backlist books for Mace that I'm going to focus on. And now let's get into my chance cards. So I do have some chance cards just because I like to toss some, you know, drama in here. Normally I just roll the dice, I pick as many chance cards, and those books get added to my TBR that correspond to the prompt. Again, I'm going to try to be focusing on backlist titles and fantasy books for Fablen, but I'll talk about that at the end. Just know fantasy books are a high commodity this month for that reason, and spooky vibes, of course. Okay, so I have to pick 3 cards. That is not that bad. So let's do the first one. Sorry, let me try to find a card that I always forget to like roll these up. Okay, so I have to read a backlist book, which is fine because I literally just put 4 on my TBR. But I'm gonna try to find another one that came out in the past that I can also add. So yeah, let me go find one and see if I can make that work. I'm gonna put on 7 Faceless Saints by M.K. Loeb, and honestly, if any of those books get chosen, I will just count that as the 2023 backlist book. But this is a murder mystery, and I really hope that I like it, so I'm gonna put a 2023 backlist book on there, and then I'm gonna do another card, and then we'll take a small pause. Okay, so just so I can keep my bullet journal up to date, which is always a problem. Okay, and then we have, ooh, read a book with a favorite YA trope. Oh, that's interesting. All right, let me go see what is on my spooky TBR card, and then I will kind of reassess. I have 2 options for this that I am going to toss on there. And favorite YA trope, again, could be a bit random, but I'm just going to toss these on. I like YA books that have a bunch of different elements. Romance, mystery, fantasy. So these do have all those things. So The Dark Becomes Her by Judy I. Lin is a Rick Riordan Presents book. And it's sinister tale of supernatural sisterhood in the shadows that rule our darkest desires. So this cover looks really, really scary. And because I do like demigods, we all know that, I'm going to add The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owens on here because this cover is like stunning and I just want to read it. But I don't know if I'm going to be in the mood to read a really heavy fantasy, but these will both count. These will both count for my fantasy prompt. They are new releases, so they won't count for like backlist, but they will count for that. So one of these books hopefully will get chosen. And then I gotta put these cards all in the right order because I see the cards and that's a problem. But the last card for this little section is going to be, ooh, a cozy fantasy. All right, let me go see if I have another cozy fantasy to add to this TBR and I will be back. Yes, I do have one. I'm gonna do Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. But honestly, if I decide to do Can't Sell Treason Without Tea, I will do one of those. But this is the sequel, and I'm really excited. It is a cozy fantasy. It was the original that I really did like, so I'm going to add this to my TBR as well. But I do say that, like, if a book doesn't work or I don't feel like reading it, but I do get the prompt done, it does count. But, like, last month, I had 2 adult like NetGalley arcs that I didn't get a chance to read, so I will be looking for that throughout this month as well to add into it. So yeah, those are my 3. I just wanted to add that. So that's a favorite YA trope, a 2003 backlist, and also a cozy fantasy. So I will be back to talk you through Fablen when I have organized everything, and we will talk about Fablen. Now I normally go into the readathons I'm going to do, but I wanted to talk about TBR Harvest because Leandra is doing that, and I love supporting Leandra. So what I think I'm going to do for TBR Harvest is I'm just going to, every week, I'm going to do a different board game and just kind of play until I'm done or until I beat the game. So these vlogs may be a little bit longer than a week, they may be a bit shorter, it just depends on how fast I beat it, but I really do want to support her. And I also might do Spookopoly by Becca from Becca in the Books, but I'm probably going to stick with doing Leandra's this year because I think Fablen is going to be so complicated. So Margaret has basically turned D&D into a competitive based readathon. We are on teams, we do have guilds, but it's very much like prompts get dropped at random, but you do have like 3 prompts you're like building your character around. So I am going to be Cassidy Greenleaf, an elf that is a mage, and has a mace. So we talked about the mace, that's the backlist books. When you're an elf, you get extra or bonus points for fantasy books, which I read a ton of fantasy, and also mage. There's like mage words that you get like extra points for. So I don't really know what the prompts are going to be. I do know my bonus points, like I do know my bonus prompts, but I don't really know anything else. So I just sort of went to my shelves and picked a bunch of books that seem like they are fantasy leaning and give me some diversity. But you know what 3 from 4 paws in a book involved, chaos will ensue, it always does. So basically, if at the end of this month I have finished Fablen and I have not fallen too far behind, I will count myself done. But let's get into the books that I'm just gonna try to shove on my TBR cart. So I have a nice variety. I have Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca. I might actually try to get the audiobook for this one. This was a book that I picked up on my trip, and it is love at first haunting in a seaside town that raises everyone's spirits in this new series. So, very exciting. I also have Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I met her over the summer, and I just haven't got around to this. This is also a cozy fantasy, so have some options for the prompts. But you also don't know the prompts. So I also have Happy Medium, which is another like whimsy romance. I might actually do a reading vlog for all of these because I do have quite a few on my TBR already. So and then I also have some just arcs that I got at ALA that I really do want to read, especially because I'm going to Comic-Con in about a month and I would like to get some of these off. Our Wicked Histories by A.B. Goldstein, and I am back teaching, so I can put these in the classroom, which is I think it's like a boarding school book. And this is from the author that wrote Those We Drown. I do have that somewhere. So, and then I also have It Waits in the Forest by Sarah Doss, which is another Rick Riordan Presents book, which I adore. So, and my last book is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, which I really do want to read. I'm nervous because I haven't been hearing the best things. I'm in Mel from Eleanor Reads her Patreon. So yeah, I am really excited to share my October reading plans with you, and I will talk to you guys soon. Let me know in the comments what are some books you hope to read in October, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.